Hello my beautiful lights, welcome back to the channel. So you've got me in my comfies and my scarf because it's absolutely freezing. I'm holding circle tonight, so it's a big event. It's absolutely gorgeous, but they wanted me to bring you this message. It's absolutely amazing. Now, the thing with this message is we are going to go into the darkness as well as understand the light. It's only the transition through that we can clearly get the concept of this message, okay? So bear with me. I'm just warning you, there might be some triggers in there. And if it triggers you, then that's an area we have to heal. And it is as simple as that. If this triggers you in any form, then it's just an understanding. Now, the biggest part of our spiritual growth and our enlightenment and our enlightened path in this world is basically to understand the concept of our reality is to take responsibility for our own existence, take responsibility over our lives and understand. Now, you'll be like, who is she to say all this? Right, bear with me. So, hello, my name's Lauren. I'm a master in energy. I work with mind, body and spirit. Have I done the journey? Absolutely. You know, even I work with mind, body and spirit because they're all aspects of me, and the divine triangle is where it comes in. You know, that's your powerhouse, basically. It's your power. So I'm just going to be completely vulnerable here, because how you learn from teachers, how you learn from spiritual people is because they have been through the depths. So I now am obviously a master in energy. I work with Reiki, you know, universal life force energy. That is my day job, and it's absolutely beautiful, and I'm so blessed to do it. And, you know, I thank you, universe, for leading me down that path. Body-wise, I also teach high impact fitness. I'm also a meditation teacher. I work with all aspects of self. So just to give you a quick story, this is the vulnerable side of me. I am opening that beautiful flower and speaking my truth here, so bear with. I used to be nearly 27 stone. I know, right? So I was a very big lady. I was trapped in the physical aspect inside a body, but what really trapped me in that time was the mind, and it was understanding the subconscious mind to release that aspect of me. You know, what was trapping me? Why was I having these thoughts? Why was I going through these cycles of self-abuse? In order to break that free. Now, I had to lose my soulmate in order to see that my life was worth living. As harsh as that sounds, it is the truth. You know, it gave me a whole different perspective at life. And I was like, I've got to sort this out. I've got to. They didn't have a choice. You know, they had the big C, and I said to myself, you do have a choice, so sort yourself out. And it was as black and as white as that. And it was my rebirth in that section of my life. And I look back and I don't actually, you know, not that I don't know her. I'm just very, very different to the version of me now. I mean, we've had many rebirths through our existence, especially, you know, light workers. It's a sort of shedding of a skin, and it's this beautiful birth of this flower. It's the butterfly, it's the wings we spoke about earlier on in the week, and it's that awakening to who you truly are. And it's a journey, and it's a step-by-step process. Now, what the angels wanted me to talk to you about today, so that's the vulnerable side gone. Yes, I have lost more than I weigh, and how I combat those shadows is what I need to talk to you about. So I teach fitness and that side of it, so I've completely embraced my shadows. I understand my triggers by doing it. I understand, you know, that I have weaknesses because I'm in human form, and it's how we combat that energy. So what do I do to maintain control over my physical vessel? Because this is simply a gift, you know. I say always, it doesn't belong to us. It's like a loan car. We have to look after it. We have to nurture our bodies as well as our mind, as well as our spirits. And they, you know, all interlock with one another. And I teach it because that way, because I'm heart energy, I know I'm helping other people, okay? They have shadows too, a lot of them similar shadows to mine. So we've built this beautiful community, and it's my 7-year anniversary today, which is amazing, in order to combat our shadows together. You know, power as one. We are one, power as one. And we all are walking different paths, but we all come together at a certain point, and then we go off and we learn different lessons individually, right? And this is simply about facing that shadow together. Like tonight is completely different. Circle is a completely different energy. I teach meditation. I'm a spiritual teacher. So we dive deep into our shadow aspects and how we can combat and we can heal them and move forward in a different form. But together they all coincide. So if you want to lose weight and get fit, you have to be physical. It's simple as that. You have to physically move your body, and it doesn't even have to be anything big. You know, it can be taking a walk with the dog. It can be walking around the park, and you start small. Let me tell you, when I went in that class for the first time, I went to a Zumba class, right? And I went in for the first time. I love music, always resonated with music, and frequency is my bag. Went in there, did one dance, I couldn't blooming breathe. I was like gasping for air. I was sweating pegs, I was bright red, but you know what? I loved it. By 6 months, I did the full class. So I did a song at the start and I sat the next one out, or I stood on the spot and just sort of went like this. And then that developed and it developed. Patience is part of my practice within this lifetime. I've had to learn patience to a huge level with people, places, things, situations. You know, that is part and parcel of the mastery stage, and that was part and parcel of being patient with myself. And it's about you being patient with yourself through a process, through a rebirth, right? You have to take it a step at a time. Don't push yourself so much that it becomes overwhelming. You know, it's little baby steps. So when we break it down into sections, so say you decide you want to get fit. So you say to yourself, okay, today I'm going to walk to the lamppost, which is down the bottom of the road, and walk back. That's your day one. That's it. You're changing your energetic field. You're changing your life in that instant you make that decision. After a week, do it twice. After 3 weeks, do it 3 times. And it's a process. You're building up your warrior spirit, right? And, you know, we dealt with, when I was teaching, you know, the lockdown and all of that stuff, you know, going online and doing everything, which we learned a lot because technology and I don't sort of mix. I'll be completely honest. It's been hugely out of my comfort zone, but it's also grown my frequency where I can do this. I couldn't have done this otherwise, right? Everything's a lesson. Even though at the time it was frustrating and I wanted to launch the laptop across the room, I'm going, you know, I'm a fire sign at the end of the day, and I have to practice patience, as we've just learned. You know, I have to control that fire as much as anybody else. It was testing. It was testing, to say the least. So it's building up that frequency and building up that understanding with everything around us. Now, 888 is significant. That came in yesterday, that came in the day before, and it's a very abundant number. Now, the thing that came into my frequency straight away was Lionsgate. Okay, so the 88 portal, and I was like, right, okay, we can work on that. We can do an 88 portal meditation. I believe there is one on this page somewhere. If not, it's out on YouTube. In another place, I will find it and I will place it down. If not, I'm going to do another one because we're doing it from a different frequency, angels. We are indeed. So there's something coming from all directions in a positive form. So changing your vibrational frequency, working on you, changes the frequency you put out, okay? People think it's selfish, it's egotistical to put all this effort into you and work on you. It's not, it's the opposite. Because when you do that, you change your vibrational ripple, which then changes their ripple because they see your happiness. Now, if people have jealousy, and you will get that too, I'm just going to be honest with you, you will still get that low frequency energy when you change your mind, body and spirit in any form and they see you elevate. They can have an issue with it. That's a them issue. That's an absolute them issue. Jealousy is the lowest vibration. Let them keep it. It's not yours to take, right? You just carry on shining. Do not let anyone interfere with that frequency. And it's quite difficult. I mean, sometimes it's hard for people to see. I had a friend, in inverted commas, when I lost all the weight, she stopped talking to me. Completely stopped. Because she wanted to do it as well. So I offered to help her, because we're like, right? And you know, we're not friends anymore. That's absolutely fine. They fall away. They fall away. That's an them issue, right? And that's how it has to be. You hold your light, you hold your power. But by working on you, it allows you to grow that power. Now, this is huge. The angels wanted me to talk to you about fear. Fear is such a block in our existence, and it came into the frequency that I've got to speak about this. This is why we're having this conversation. I had a lot of fear back when, in my old life, as I call it, my old life. Oh, let me just have a sip of my tea. What we're drinking from? Sloth Mo, meditation night. So I had a fear of nearly everything. And I look back and I think, who is she, right? Who is she? So I feared teaching. The first time no, that's not the first time, angels, you're right. For the first 3.5 years, probably 4 years, I was sick before every class I taught because the nerves got so much before I learned how to really ground my energy. I was scared of the sea, which is the love of my life. I'm in it like a fish all the time. Give me a board and I'm away. I was scared of everything. And we talk about darkness coming into our existence, right? But there were these lessons, let's transmute it, because they were lessons. And it pushed me so far out of my comfort zone, and I kept pushing myself to fight against that fear. So, for example, if I was scared of heights, I'd probably do a zip line. That would just give you an example. I'm not scared of heights, and I love zip lines. I love abseiling. I love all of that because I'm absolutely crackers and I'm such a free energy, right? So, you know, but if I was, that's what I would do to combat fear. So, public speaking. Huge fear of mine, public speaking. Now I do it for my job. Literally, it is my job. And it was the first time, you know, nervous tummy, oh my goodness. Second time, nervous tummy for years, and I still kept going. I still had that warrior spirit. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And each time it got a little bit easier. Where now I don't fear at all. I still ground my energy. Last night before class, the girls come out with me and we ground. And it was just because we had huge solar flares yesterday. By heck, they were massive. And I was like, should we ground before we dance, ladies? And we just did. And it was absolutely awesome. So, you know, grounding really helped me, and it will help you. I place my hands upon the earth if I can't take my socks and shoes off. Mostly it's socks and shoes off. If it's winter and it's snowing, it's a spoon on the bottom of the feet, and not the one you eat your yogurt with, please. And I keep it in my bag. So if we're in a situation where I think, oh my goodness, I'm getting a bit like, oh, here, or a bit anxious about anything, ground back down, take yourself deep into the earth and ground with Gaia, because it just brings your frequency and it puts you back into that alignment stage. Now, fear is something that controls us, and where we hold the fear is in the mind, right? It's the subconscious mind, it's old patterns of behavior, it's the way we think, it's the way we project even. You know, we do it onto our children without knowing we're doing it. Oh, don't do that because you're scared for them, right? So, and it's about understanding how we interpret that energy outwardly, okay? So, I did it. I'm guilty. Again, I'm a human being. So, you know, I am guilty of that as well. I used to fear everything. And I just don't. I have faced the darkest depths of you know what. Literally walked through on broken glass, and I've come out the other side. Now, it is the journey through. When we speak about the journey through is the hardest part of it. But believe you me, when you come out the other side, it is beautiful. Now, when we talk about mastering our energy, I don't believe in mastery, even though technically on paper for licenses and stuff I am. I believe we're forever mastering oneself, okay? So this journey of mastery is mastering our energy. Now, things are going to come into your vibrational frequency that upset the apple cart, and they're going to send your frequency off. And it's about understanding the energy. When we understand it, we can ground it back down and we can take a lesson from a situation. And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest part of this transmutation that we hold, where we can turn darkness into power, right? So it's understanding that fear is in the mind. But by facing the fear, so say you're scared of snakes, right? And you're at the garden centre and all of a sudden there's a guy with loads of reptiles and you stroke or hold that snake. You are combating that fear. I'm not saying put yourself in a situation where you start hyperventilating and are so uncomfortable you can't cope with it. Baby steps. So stand within a metre if that's all you can do. And it's combating that fear because it no longer then has control over your emotional state. We have had Scorpio full moon and blooming Nora. It's been an emotional one. Scorpio is water, and obviously the dark aspects of it, which is our shadow self. They call it, Lilith energy and things like that. And it's understanding your light and your shadow. And that light and shadow actually needs to be intertwined with one another to really understand you. And that's acceptance of self, and that's mastery, right? So it's accepting your warts and all, understanding the shadows and the way you felt in a situation at the time. But it's also releasing that victim mentality state from that situation, because we can put ourselves in that state of victimhood or whatever from a situation. Now, when we look at something from our past and we say long ago, say, let's use the example of childhood. That happened in that situation. That is not the situation now. You are an adult. You serve from a different vibrational frequency. What happened to you does not impact your adulthood unless you let it. And it's about releasing the vibrational frequency of our traumas. We've had lessons, we've had dark things happen to each and every one of us. And I've had my fair share too. I'm a human being. My life is not perfect, but it is getting that way. And it's the change in frequency. I choose who I have in my existence. I put out a thing this morning and it was basically, I like kind people. Anybody who is not kind, the door is closed to them. So if they start mouthing nasty things about others, I'm not interested. Off you toddle. Everybody's on an individual journey. You're not coming into my existence. You're not coming into my vibrational frequency. Absolutely toddle off. And that is just because it's being confident within myself. I know what I deserve in my vibrational frequency. And that is a stage and that is a path to your great enlightenment, because you stop the BS coming into your world. And it's not being awful. It's not like you're not aware of what's happening externally to you. You just don't serve it. And it's about what we serve. Now, when we've done the healing, we can truly grow. So when we're forever bringing something from the past energy into our current existence, then we're taking ourselves vibrationally to that experience at that time. So your energy and your vibration will shift in a negative form. It takes you back down there. And what you need to do is the healing within that situation. So it's understanding, it's moving forward, and it's lifting your vibrational frequency so you can truly heal. The healing is the biggest aspect of it. What we did the other day was just a little practice to see where these blocks were. Now, I hope you've researched it. You can Google it. You can read up on the information. Some of you have put it in comments. Absolutely, keep them coming. That's what I'm here for. This is part of my light work. If I can do it and answer it as soon as I can, I shall. If I can't, if I'm working, just bear with. All right, and we will get there as soon as we can. So what else have they said? So when life makes you stronger, it's sort of like facing the battles, not getting the blessings. But this is building your energy to your awakened self. And it's not like punishment, it's not. It's just building your spirit up. So when you're at the right vibrational energy to receive, and that's what they were saying. So that was where the 888 was coming in. You need to be at the right frequency. So that is respecting yourself, knowing your worth. Having people, places and things and situations around you which are takers. It's about removing that energy also, because you need an even vibration in your life. Everything is in balance, mind, body and spirit. We look after our mind. It looks after our body, it feeds our spirit and our soul and our heart, right? And looking after our body looks after our mind because it releases serotonin. It gives you that happy pill, and when you're exercising, you feel that rush. And it's beautiful. Like I say, it doesn't have to be anything big. If you love yoga, do yoga. If you love Tai Chi, love Tai Chi. You see, I was karate all of my childhood. Karate was my thing. Absolutely loved it. Warrior spirit within, right? And I would love to do it as an adult now. I did it as a child, that and dancing. You know, define masculine and feminine. That's a very, very important thing. So not saying that, you know, define feminine can't be the Karate Kid, you absolutely can. I was, you know. But the balance of the defined masculine and feminine within you is very important. Everything in balance, right? So your masculine's your action, let's go, let's do this, let's get all our ducks in a row, and organisation in that sector. Your feminine is like, right, we've got this, now let's create. And then the masculine puts it, your masculine side puts it into action. So she is your art of love and the abundance of creation, like the Empress. And this is your masculine. Let's create, let's go, boom, like your King of Wands, for example. Let's go. So you need that balance internally. And that internal balance is, you know, controlling the negative ego. Excuse me. Controlling the negative ego. Opening your heart, being that vulnerable person that you beautifully are without gifting your energy away. And it's that balance of the two together that makes this stunning energy within you, which then your ripple effect goes out into the right direction. So yeah, that was the message. Look out for 888. If you've taken something from this, leave me a message, say hello to me. It's lovely to have you. And until next time, my beautiful lights, from our hearts to yours, bye-bye for now.